Hi viewers, welcome back to my channel. So in this video, we're going to discuss about the AMCAT Automata questions. So automata basically consists of two sections for coding. One is automata and another one is the automata fix. In automata, a problem statement is given and we have to write the entire code for that problem statement. And automata fix is like a part of code with many errors is given. It's like a debugging section. We have to remove all the errors and we have to correct all the errors in order to make it run. So in this video, we're going to see about the automata questions and exclusively about how to print the various patterns that are asked in the automata questions. So I've already made a video on this series. I will link the video in the I button. Before going into the video, if you think my work will be good, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. So first pattern that we're going to see today is a normal pattern where only stars is printed and input is equal to 5 and output, if you see, it's a triangle. So difference between the triangle that we have discussed in the last video and in this video is that is a right triangle lean towards the left and this is an isosceles triangle. So I said how to break a logic for any triangle, right? So please pause the video for a minute and try to break the logic for this pattern. Hope you guys tried breaking the logic. Now let's look how to write the logic for this program. As I said before, whenever we're approaching any triangle pattern, first try to write it like a table. If you break it into a table, we can find all the logics very easily for that program. So I break it into a table and if I am counting the number of rows and number of columns, I have 5 rows and 10 columns. For n is equal to 5. So if you see, I'm having n number of rows and 2 star n number of columns. The first thing that we found out today is we are having n number of rows and 2 star n number of columns for a isosceles pattern. So now let's look upon like how to print this star pattern. Before printing the star, we have to print few spaces, right? So if you see, I have marked it in a red mark. First we have to print the spaces and then the star. So it is also holding some logic. If you see, it is also forming a triangle. So first let's start to write the logic for printing these spaces. Now let's look on the logic for this program. So I'm going to create a variable called space, that is sp. So I have to determine the initial value of this space as well as the condition for displaying the spaces. So now let's try to break the logic. When r is equal to 1 and space is equal to 1, we are having a space, and if you see the space is less than or equal to the value of n. And when r is equal to 1 and space is equal to 2, we are having a space again, and space is less than or equal to n condition is also satisfied. And when r is equal to 1 and space is equal to 3, yes, we are having the space. If you see, this is space 1, space 2, space 3, and here also our condition is satisfied, that is space is less than n. And when r is equal to 1 and space is equal to 4, yes, we are having a space again and space is less than or equal to the value of n. When r is equal to 1 and space is equal to 5, if you see in this place we are having a star. Actually what should happen, our loop, the for loop which are going to write should break, that the condition should not get satisfied. But if you see, we have given the condition as sp is less than or equal to the value of n. If you see, the value actually gets satisfied, the value of space is less than or equal to n, because value of n is equal to 5 and space is also 5. So in order to break the loop, I'm making the condition as space is less than n. If you see, 5 is not less than 5, right? So now if you check with that, space is not printed and yes, space is less than n is satisfied. So what we found it, it should not be less than n. It should not be less than or equal to n, it should be less than n. So now let's try with the next row. When r is equal to 2 and space is equal to 1, we are having the space and space is less than the value of n. And when r is equal to 2 and space is equal to 2, we are having a space again. This is the space and space is less than n. And when r is equal to 2 and space is equal to 3, we are having a space. Yes, space is less than n. N. And when r is equal to 2 and space is equal to 4, we should have a space according to our condition, that is space is less than n. So our condition is actually satisfied. But if you see here, the star is printed and not the space is printed. So in order to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this value as 5. So if I make it 5, our condition is breaks. If this is 5, then it should be 4 actually, and it should be 3, and this should be 2. Right? Now if you see our thing is not printed and our condition is satisfied, I'll say how. Now let's look at the third row. When r is equal to 3 and space is equal to 1, the value is printed and the space is less than n. And when r is equal to 3 and space is equal to 2, yes, the space is printed and space is less than n. And when r is equal to 3 and space is equal to 3, if you see, we are not having a space here, we are having a star. So we have to actually break the loop. But if you see, our condition is satisfied, space is less than n. So in order to break it, I'm going to consider this as 5. So if this should be 5, this should be 4, right? And this value should be 3. If you if you analyze this, the value of r and the value of space are same everywhere. R, see, r is equal to 3, space is equal to 3. R is equal to 2, space is equal to 2. R is equal to 1 and space is equal to 1. So we can conclude that the value of space is equal to the value of row. So space can have the value of row. Now let's check this with the next row, okay? When r is equal to 4 and space is equal to 4. So we have given the value as row, right? For the space, the space is printed and space is less than the value of n, that is also satisfied. And when r is equal to 4 and space is equal to 5, our condition is not satisfied. If you see, the space is equal to the value of n, and if you see no space is there, only the value is printed here, see. So our condition is actually satisfied. Now let's check with the last row also. When r is equal to 5 and space is equal to 5, our condition is not satisfied. Space is not less than the value of n, and hence no space is available, and see, the space is not at all printed. So we found out the logic, right? That space is equal to the value of row and space must be less than the value of n. Now let's look the logic for printing the stars. If you see, when row is equal to 1, the number of stars printed is 1. When row is equal to 2, it is 2. When row is equal to 3, we have 3 stars. Like that, for row 4, we have 4 stars. And for row 5, we are having 5 stars. So we can conclude that whatever the pattern, it is actually connecting with the row value, right? So it must be, so the column must be equal to, less than or equal to the value of row. You might ask me like how I concluded this condition. Reason I gave y equal to row is when r is equal to 1, number of stars is equal to 1. When r is equal to 2, the number of stars is equal to 2. So I am giving the equal to sign. But why did I give the lesser than is because I have to print, when r is equal to 2, I have to print both the first star as well as the second star. When r is equal to 3, I have to print the first star, second star and third star. That is lesser than the value of r and equal to the value of r. That is first star, second star and third star. When r is equal to 5, I have to print first, second, third, fourth and fifth star. So if I start when call is equal to 1, and if I give this condition, call is less than or equal to the value of a row, we will be able to print the stars in this pattern. Now let's look how to program this in Turbo C++. Now let's open the Turbo C++. We'll create a new project. We'll save it. Now I will include the header files. I've included stdio.h and conio.h. Now I'll add the main function and I'm opening its definition. So we know we need 3 variables. One is row, column and another one is the value of n. We have to get it. So other than that, we have to introduce a new variable space here. So I'm going to create 4 variables: row, column, spaces and the value of n. So now we'll give clr ser. Now we have to get the value of n from the output. So I'm going to ask for the value, enter a number. Now we have to save the value in n. So I'm doing that, ampersand n. So now we have to start printing the pattern. So first we have to enter each row. So our outer for loop will be and row for loops. For row is equal to 1, row less than or equal to the value of n, row plus plus. So now within the row, first I have to print the spaces and then only I am going to print the star. So I'll write a for loop for space. For space is equal to row. This was some logic that we have found in the program. Space is equal to row. Space is less than the value of n. Space plus plus. We discussed the logic like how we did it. Now if this is the condition, we have to print a space. So I've given that. Now I'm closing this space. So after printing the space, we have to print the star. So I'm opening a for loop for printing the stars. For call is equal to 1. Call is less than or equal to the value of row. Call plus plus. We have to print the value of, we have to print the star. So I'm printing the star. We have to give a space here. And I'm closing. So after completing each row, we have to go to the next line. For that I'm giving /n, closing the for loop now, and then I'll give get ch. Now we'll save the program. We'll run it. So it's asking for a value. We'll give 5. See, we are getting the pattern. So now I guess you understood like how we wrote the logic for this. So first we are entering the each row, and within each row we are checking the condition like whether space is less than the value of n. We decoded this logic and space is equal to row. If that is the case, we are printing the space. After printing the space, we have to print the star. So for that I have given the condition as call is less than the equal to the value of row. So hope you understood this program.
So that's it for today. So if you like my work, please like, share and subscribe to my channel so that you will get all the videos that I post, and keep supporting. Thank you.